Introducing a cutting-edge company that endeavors perfecting the air while making efforts in solving environmental issues, meeting the needs of its customers, and breathing fresh air into the air conditioning industry.
省エネして CO2 削減していかないと世界が終わっちゃうと。だからそこはもう我々がリーダーシップを取っていくという固い決意があります。
Looking into the present and the future of a world-leading Japanese brand.
Hi, I'm Alan Manuel from Protera. We're an SAP certified partner who helps companies migrate and manage their SAP plus related applications on the public cloud. Joining me today is Javier Sanabria from Daikin Applied. Javier, welcome.
Hi, Alan. How are you today?
Good, good. And for those in the audience who are now quickly adjusting your laptops, it's not your laptop. Javier has a special camera that is in black and white, so coming to us with that special filter on. Okay, Javier, looking forward really to sharing your story with the audience today. I was doing a little research here. Daikin Industries, you are the world's largest HVAC manufacturer, and I noticed you have some very ambitious corporate goals, one of which is net zero emissions by 2050. So that's a fantastic goal. So your story really combines several elements that I think are going to be interesting. First of all, very, very ambitious corporate goals. Companies really changing to meet the needs of their customers. From a technical standpoint, I know we're going to talk obviously about SAP, but you're going to talk about SAP plus non-SAP and S4 HANA, ECC, so really a broad mix of applications. And then, of course, cloud. Of course, your move to the cloud and really what were your expectations before, kind of how it went or how it's going, and then sort of what you have going for the future. And I know from previous ASUG sessions that all of these topics are super interesting to the audience. And so really excited to talk to you now. And then, of course, to have you available for live Q&A during the expert session later on. Alrighty, so let's get started. For those who don't know about Daikin, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what the organization does and a little bit about your role at Daikin Applied?
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the introduction, Alan. And it is my pleasure to be explaining our business case for your audience in these incredible sessions that we will have here, because we have a lot of things to say about a real business case and the opportunity that we has been rolled out from Daikin. Well, Daikin is at this point will be the number one company from the air conditioning companies. We have more than 80 plant facilities around the world. We are a lot of capabilities, a lot of developments, a lot of technologies that we can leverage from the industrial, commercial, and domestic side. We are capable to be in care of the air that we are breathing in each of these facilities. And we're happy to say that we have the best technologies. Daikin, as a Japanese company, has been growing organically in the last 4 or 5 years, making acquisitions from several companies. So that means that we will have a mix of technologies around all the companies around the world. And in Americas, is large, the company. We are split in different divisions with the North America side and Latin America side. There are a few operations which used to be running independently, like Mexico, Argentina, and Brazil. So it is exciting because, working for me from Daikin is an excellent experience, because the integration of all these technologies coming from different companies that has been acquired is something that really needs attention, and where the business is putting resources and is where we are driving and conducting our targets.
Now, one of the technologies or the areas of technology must be IoT. With all of the facilities that you work with, the devices, that must be an area where the company is saying, hey, our customers are looking for something different and we want to move in a new direction. Is that true? Is that something that's very prevalent in your strategy?
Absolutely. It is very important, for everybody. It's not really a fashion to have a dashboard and understand how the systems are working in your home. And that also applies for the air conditioning. So the IoT technologies and monitoring technologies and analytics is very important, because we want to put control in heads of our consumers. And they will be having the control, or even they will be capable to be controlling all the hardware from their hands, from a tablet, and getting values and getting KPIs from the measures of the air conditioning, and understanding how well and the maintenance which is scheduled for their air conditionings as well. So the Internet of Things is something under development. We have Japanese and US-based research and development centers, which there's a lot of investment, and we will be in that track sooner or later.
So that must mean really an explosion in data, really perhaps a need for new platform. Now, of course, you're running your business, so you have your existing platform, and that's where I think things start to get interesting. So why don't we turn a little bit to the technical side, and maybe explain to the audience here what your current SAP landscape is.
Absolutely. We have been explaining a little bit that we have ERPs. The most of those are SAP and Oracle in other companies around America. But in Latin America, the most representative is the SAP ECC and the SAP SAP HANA. So both of these environments are located in different data centers. So for us, it's important to start to be thinking about how the integrations will be taking place and how the future of our SAP, which is our main applications, will be running. And we are just taking care of that. Those data centers primarily will be terminated, or we will have to be changing our contracts because we are looking forward and we will be expecting to be integrating both systems, and we'll be capable to be exploding and getting the most in the market from today. So this will be conducting a lot of business behaviors and a business enabler we will be discussing today.
Now, you had looked at really running your applications on a public cloud platform or environment many, many years ago, if I remember correctly from our discussions before. And at the time, you chose not to do that. Okay, and time has passed, things have changed, and then you decided perhaps now is the time to take a look again at a public cloud infrastructure. So walk us through a little bit of that, keeping in mind that the individuals listening to this, many are in where you were, which is really running SAP on maybe an in-house or private cloud architecture, and trying to figure out if now is the time to be thinking about maybe making that move to cloud. So tell us a little bit about, you were maybe in one camp and now you're in a different camp. Tell us about your thought process and how you evaluated that decision, what some of your expectations were.
Absolutely. I think that's a great question, because it's something that we really expected to happen in that fast, because when this data center contract has been arriving to termination, that was the opportunity, and we has been detected that there was a lot of opportunity cost as well. So we has been start to be looking forward in the market for some options, and everybody is taking care to look forward for those clouds, that public clouds, because we were in a black box, and we were a little bit uncomfortable, because we were missing important or valuable information. Decision making was a little bit in other clouds. So this created opportunity, because at the same time we previously has been created a exchange communication fabric. That means that we were integrated our telecommunications and private network in a single space that will be allowing the VPN connectivity. So that gives us the opportunity as well to be ready to jump into the cloud, because we were taking care of the connections as well. So that was the opportunity, and when we were looking forward, it was incredible that appears in our roadmap, the Azure space, because our corporate side in the US was doing a data center migration to the Azure as well. When we ask if we can request for a proposal and see if this can work for us, well, everybody has been arrived to us, to our seats, and say, okay, let's discuss this. Microsoft has been arrived to us, and they say, we have an option for you. And the option will be a business enabler. You will have the opportunity to see this. And well, we were very opening to hear from that. And at that point arrives Protera and other vendors as well. But we were very happy to receive that proposal, because we were looking forward as well for the expert side of the migration, which is, I think that's one of the most important things that we were looking forward, not only to be arriving to the Azure as a corporate site, as a secure site, as a VPN, reliable platform, but also was the opportunity to say, let's integrate and let's be prepared for our future plans.
So let's talk a little bit more about the move to cloud. Doing or participating in different surveys, talking to different customers, we had kind of a picture of what customers are looking for. And often really the very first item on their list is cost savings. Hey, I'm in my current infrastructure today. When I move to the cloud, can I save cost? And then you actually mentioned a couple of things. You said here, with our current provider, we were missing some information. We wanted to be prepared. Sometimes organizations, especially those who have made the move, say, hey, now I've got that cost savings, but now I'm really becoming a more agile organization. I have better access to the information. I have better visibility. Actually, the ability to access new cloud services, maybe new services that are only available on the cloud, maybe look in the area of analytics. All of these kind of come to play, but it sort of starts with that cost savings objective. Was that kind of how your business case played out?
Yes, that was our case, Alan, because it would be impossible for the business to be moving this, to the cloud without having the cost opportunity and really test and say to the financial staff that we are capable to be doing savings. That was something impressed from my side, because when I looked for that opportunity, I start to push everybody, senior managers, and let them understand that it was a very, very good opportunity to get the most from this migration to the cloud. That was impressively important for us. But that was not the only benefit. There will be a lot of benefits. We will be capable to be ready to get KPIs. We will be ready to be measuring. We will have dashboards. We are understanding that the Microsoft servers, Windows servers architecture, are ready to be running SAP. And we will be very flexible. We need to keep the business running very flexible and very capable to respond to any changes in our infrastructure.
Okay. Great. So that's the great vision. Now let's talk about what happened. So now time to go off and find a vendor. You chose Protera, and thank you for that. Let's talk about the migration. How long did that take you to get from your current ECC onto Azure? And what was your expectation in terms of the performance of that project and how painful or painless it was?
Yes, absolutely. When we move some proposals, quotations, projects to senior managers, they are all the time are scared because they think in long-term, 6 months, 1 year projects. They are really scared and they are worried about the cost and everything like that. So when I arrived to the senior managers and say, okay, we can run this in a couple of months, they were really surprised. They say, no, how are you going to do possible to do that? And I say, yes, we have a partner. We can create a partnership. That includes a long-term partnership with the right best practices companies in the side of migration and maintenance and support from the Azure and SAP integration. And I can tell you that there was no deviation to the budget and to the schedule. It is something very important from my side, from my management perspective, because if we are saying to the business that we will be doing this in this time, we'll do it. And it was incredible because we were working pretty much tight, pretty much shoulder to shoulder with the Protera team. And I can say that we were very happy to say that we have a successful migration in 2 months. So yes, the project management practices, disciplines, the team, and the expertise to conduct us through the migration of the data center, which sometimes is not easy going, it becomes easy going with the Protera helps.
Yeah, so you mentioned there really was no diversion or no difference between the plan as it was envisioned and then the plan as it was executed. And so that obviously gives you the confidence, but then also gives you the confidence to report back to your management team, hey, I told you I could do this with a partner. We did it exactly as planned. So that, especially when you're talking about moving your SAP, which is sort of the heart of everything, right? That's got to be a good.
And we has been created a user experience at the end of the day, because when we switch on and we do the cutover, there was no complaints. Everybody was happy. We would just say, okay, nobody noticed that we has been doing this major change or this major surgery, and everybody was happy.
Now, Javier, a lot of companies who are looking to maybe make that move to the cloud, and we're talking about ECC in this case, they're also thinking about, hey, what am I going to do about my S4 strategy? Okay, now in your case, you have a varied environment. You already have S4 running in different parts of the company. But for an organization that is running ECC, and it maybe is on-prem or in a current, on a private data center, for example, and thinking about, hey, should I move to the cloud sort of as is, or should I do my upgrade and then move, or should I upgrade at the same time? You moved pretty much as is. We did the platform upgrade. We did move the application. What would you recommend for a company that is contemplating that upgrade to S4? Should they do it at the same time as moving their cloud, or maybe move to the cloud first, stabilize it, and then do the upgrade? What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, that's a very smart question, Alan, in order to let the audience understand that, because you can do the move to the cloud at any time. Obviously, we need to be taking care of the business risk. At the IT, we have an appetite to be getting new technologies, and this is something true for everybody. But we need to be taking care. If I want to be doing that migration, it will be important to say, okay, I got a stable platform. That's the beginning. I don't have to be applying patches or kernel upgrades or something. If I'm capable to maintain the platform of what it is, that's the right moment to start with the migration. We don't want really to be adding complexity. Once you do that and you are on the cloud, it will be ready come from your maintenance plan, for your upgrading plans, or even doing any SAP upgrades. That's part of our strategy, and that's why we are very convinced that doing this move to the Azure will be very a smart move.
Okay, excellent. So really to not add additional complexity, take your existing systems, move them to the cloud. In this case, we're working with you to provide the managed service, so you don't have to worry about the day-to-day running. Obviously, that's a strategy we recommend for customers as well. But then that gives organizations kind of the mental bandwidth, if you will, to deal with maybe the process changes or any new functions that they want to implement. So really kind of a two-step approach is what you're describing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in our case, we are just saying, okay, let's move. Before we do, for example, upgrade from ECC to S4 HANA, they say, okay, please move first the platform, and once we get stabilized the infrastructure, the platform, the servers, the maintenance, and everything like that, okay, once we do that big step, we are ready to do and conduct the business to the future. So if at any time that the business want to be doing the upgrade to S4 HANA, we will be ready. We already have the data, we already have the consultancy services, we already have the capabilities in order to be conducted any additional project starting from that.
Okay. Now, I know there are often many questions around this particular topic. So again, I'll just remind the audience to, again, join us for that expert session so we can take some of these questions live. Javier, I want to come back to the business case. So we talked about you making the business case about, hey, once I move to Azure, I'm going to get all these great things. You said for my current system, it was a little bit of a black box, but once I move to the cloud, I'm going to have better stuff. I'm going to lower my costs. I'm going to have better visibility. I'm going to. So you're there now. Tell us a little bit about a day in your life now as opposed to before. What are some things that are the improvements that you can see specifically on a day-to-day basis now that you've made that move, which really was done in just 2 short months? Tell us a little bit about the specifics of that.
Absolutely. We already have been passed through for 3 months on the Azure platform with the Protera services, and we are very, very happy. We also have been started some of the monitoring sessions in order to understand how to optimize our environment, and we are happy to say that because Protera is providing with a lot of information that help us to make decisions. But for our future mid-term or long-term, we are ready to do the migrations to S4 HANA, in this case for a Mexico entity. And from the US perspective or Latin America perspective, we can say that we are ready to perform, to jump out from the actual data center to the Azure. So integration and consolidation of the servers will be the first benefit. For example, has been start to be creating our Solman, the solution manager server, and we put it in the Azure. So that gives us the opportunity to be managing 2 separate systems in this environment, which is very, very nice to have it. So also we were preparing for other integrations. I can tell you that we are ready for run a BI project, and we want to be creating our data lake, our data warehousing, anything that we need. So we will be ready to be pushing all the data in our Azure, and we will be creating these dashboards from online perspectives, on real-time fashion. That will be giving us a lot of business power, because we will be putting data from Azure, from our SAP servers, to the hands of our users in the mobile application. So also we will be running some kernel upgrades that we are having in mind. We will be doing database migrations, technical upgrades. So the other, we'll be reducing the cost when we move the S/4HANA to the Azure as well. It will be very nice to do that. Okay, and probably we'll be ready in the near future to conduct single sign-on configurations, because once we got the Fabric Exchange communication and the Azure space and the Active Directory working with us, we will be capable to be reducing the risk, and the login will be very easy for the users. Probably we'll have other projects where we can do license integration. We have to be integrating the Japan licenses as well in this, and will be very easy for us to have visibility, not just from the application perspective or performance. We also will have visibility for the infrastructure side with the dashboards that Protera is offering to us.
Right, that's through our FlexBridge tool. Well, Javier, I'm trying to write down as fast as you're going through this, because these are super interesting topics. I'm just watching the clock here. Touch a little bit on analytics. Many customers are thinking, hey, what am I going to do for my analytics strategy? In the old world, I was in the world of SAP. I used SAP tools. SAP's kind of data model was at the center of this. Now we've got this thing called cloud. Tremendous amount of new capability, tremendous amount of power. A lot more systems can be kind of plugging data into the data lake. You obviously are jumping into that with some of your projects here. What was your thinking behind the analytics? Is that something that was really kind of high on your list, but maybe you didn't have the right infrastructure to execute that, and now that's available, or something else? Tell us a little bit about what's leading you to put the BI and the data lake project as one of the next things. How did that get up on your priority list?
Absolutely. It will be one of the most important projects for us in Latin America during the incoming fiscal year, because managers want to manage the business as closer as possible to their data, to their information, to the sales, to the manufacturing, to the logistics. So business intelligence and artificial intelligence and cognitive technologies are very important for us. And so even if we do not have actually the tool, we are ready with the platform, and we are evaluating how to be integrating all these tools that probably could be the SAP Analytics, or probably could be others. But in this case, we are flexible, we are capable. We can integrate a server in a few minutes in order to be ready to be creating the data lakes. So we already have the flexibility, which is very important because we are cloud-based, and there's a lot of other tools that we are evaluating that also are ready in the cloud. So that means that gives us speed, and the business can be deploying the BI very quickly, and we can create that data warehouse starting from cycles. We know that this is very important to have our dashboards from the financial perspective. We need to have our dashboard in the Salesforce perspective, in the Salesforce, and finally our logistics, because in Latin America it's more important for us the logistics side. So pretty much it's going to be very easy to have a few consultants helping us to be creating and consolidating this. But I'm putting in the mindset of our consultants is to say, please, let's think about Azure. Let's think about how we can leverage our data lakes over there to be capable to be getting information from our other systems. We have SAP, we have Salesforce, we have a number of systems where we have to be collecting information. But the Azure and the SAP is ready. We are ready to be executing and testing and giving the senior managers, how to conduct business. We want to provide them with all these capabilities that we have, and we are ready to do it in a very, very fast way.
Javier, I'm looking forward to having a further discussion with you a little bit down the line as your projects go forward, because I'd love to see how these turn out. Let's turn a little bit, again, just kind of watching the clock here. Let's turn a little bit to some of the potential roadblocks. Security in the past has been an area, or security compliance in the past has been an area where companies may have been reluctant to move their core data, their SAP applications and data onto the cloud. Was that your situation? And then if so, sort of what changed, and what's your perspective on security? Obviously you believe it because you're there, but give us a little more detail on your insights in that particular area of your move to the cloud.
Absolutely. Security for our site is very, very important. We are arriving to the site over the private networks. We are arriving to the servers in a secure connection. We want to be arriving to the single sign-on feature as well. So I believe that the Azure is providing us, because it's with all those tools, because it's ready to do that. So if we already have these technologies, Microsoft technologies in our site, which are pretty much managed in the US, we're capable to be reinforcing infrastructure with all these practices that Protera is offering to us. We can define precisely how the VPN is going to be getting access to the applications. We can precisely define how the servers are protected, because we don't want ransomware in our servers. We really want to be protected, and how all these boxes and all these servers are integrated in a secure environment, which is really, really possible. A lot of new users on the cloud is one of their concerns, but I can tell you that the servers are secure. We are using private IPs, we are using defenders, we are using antivirus and tools that really protect our environment. Obviously, keeping in mind that we have a private network connected to the Azure is something really important that we have to take into consideration in order to protect our main information in the SAP context.
Okay, Javier, I'm in the audience. I'm listening to you. You've convinced me. Now is the time to start putting my business case together. I'm at ASUG. I'm trying to get the info, and I've decided. You know what? I've listened to these conferences, and I've listened to my peers who are maybe a little bit ahead of me in their journeys. I'm going to go for it. What is some advice? What thoughts would you give to your younger self of, let's say, a year, 18 months ago, putting your plan together? How do you get started? How do you collect your information? What's your view on partners? Kind of how do you go about it? What would be your advice for somebody who's maybe looking to make that journey?
Absolutely, get the right partnership. That's a marriage, and I believe that you will be looking forward for a vendor with the capabilities, with the migration, with the experience, with the human side, which is for me very important. The project management capabilities as well. Protera do this perfectly because they have the platform, they have the resources, and this is a long term. Look forward for the right expertise. This is something really important for me. And once you get that, well, you are ready to be conducting a right migrations, and will be successful if you have the right partner.
All right. Javier, I have so many things I would like to ask you about. But I think at this point, what I would like to do is, again, welcome or ask the audience to make sure to come to our expert session later on. You touched on so many topics, really sort of how to make that move to the cloud, how the decision-making process went, how you changed from being more, an on-prem to a cloud environment, putting that business case together, the costs, being prepared, going from a black box to a visible environment. You've got the analytics strategy, you've got the ECC and the S4. Really, it's all elements of what many people who are attending the conference today are looking to learn about. So I'm really hopeful that we have a good session today in the expert session. Anything I missed about, I know we went pretty in depth, but anything I missed that final words you might want to give to any of your peers here?
Just to say thank you, because I think that these forums are very important for everybody which really want to be leverage technology. Is it possible? I think we were dreamers when the cloud has been started, but nowadays it's possible. It's very possible. The technology is now an enabler for us, business enabler. We were capable to be running technology, doing the right partnership, executing on time the projects to gain credibility is something really important. But never forget that we are human. The human side is very important, because we need to be touching, we need to be working and acting as a team. It's something really important that has been run in this project, and I'm very, very happy to say that.
Great. Well, Javier Sanabria from Daikin Applied, thank you. We value the partnership and we value the ability to and the opportunity to be that trusted personal partner to you and your organization as well. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you to the audience. Thank you to the audience as well. And again, make sure to join us in the expert session. And looking forward to hearing more of your questions and continuing this conversation live. I'm Alan Manuel from Protera. Again, thank you, Javier, for joining me today.
My pleasure. Thank you.